1 cheese, 3 wines. Doing something a little bit different today. What about the cheese, Isaac?
Speaking of different, comes out of left field, that's for sure.
Okay, and it's a seasonal one too, isn't it?
It sure is, right in time for the holidays.
And we're going to be doing a traditional pairing, a off-kilter one, and a budget pairing for this baby. Stay tuned. I'm Brian Singh from Brian's Table.
And I'm Isaac Bignell from Say Cheese.
And today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're actually going to be doing a cheese and wine pairing. 1 cheese, 3 wines. Okay, Isaac, so what cheese do we have in store today?
We have one of my favorite cheeses on the planet. I look forward to it every year. And comes in this beautiful little box. It's called Vacherin Mont. And this is the Swiss version. So it's an Alpine cheese, yeah.
Is there a French version as well?
Exactly. Both from the Jura, one from the Swiss Jura, one from the French Jura.
Oh, fantastic.
They are the epitome of the Alps. They scream, you can scream. They yodel forward. They absolutely do.
Yes.
No, it's very interesting. It comes in a pine box and it's a wash rind, so there's this beautiful like flora on top. And it's wrapped with spruce bark. So when you're consuming the cheese, you get this like the French word is sous-bois, and it means like forest floor. That's kind of its, and with the bark, it's completely envelops the cheese in scent, that is. And when you taste it, it's present but yet not overwhelming, considering it's made with the bark.
Okay, and is it a cow's milk or is it a sheep's milk or?
It is a thermalized cow's milk.
Okay.
It's though it's incredibly rich. It's not even that high in fat. It's 22%, I believe.
Wow.
High moisture, though. And this is something that you serve. This is the showpiece at your party, for your Christmas party.
So it's a seasonal product. So it's only available around Christmas, or
in North America, it's made between August 15th and March 15th, and it's only to be sold in mid-September to the beginning of spring. So it's basically end of summer winter product. In North America, normally it's available at Christmas. We bring it in for Christmas, and this year was the first time it was available in October for Thanksgiving.
Fantastic.
It was such a treat, a treat. I had some people just shocked because I didn't tell a lot of people, and I just showed them, and they were like,
little secret, I've had it before. Isaac recommended it, and it's a fantastic cheese.
It's worth waiting for.
So you made a number of recommendations the first time I had this on how to eat it.
Yes.
So how would you recommend to our viewers how to eat this cheese?
Get the cheapest cardboard you can, because after it's dipped in the cheese, you won't even know it's cardboard.
Okay.
No. So excellent bread, excellent wine, excellent company, and you either let it sit out for 24 hours, you put it somewhere. If you have a dog up high, I once had a terrible incident with a customer.
Dogs love cheese.
They do, and the cheese didn't love the dog.
No.
So the poor thing grabbed it off the counter, ate it all, had a horrible. And then they came back the next day with like a sad look on their face. I'm like, how was it? They're like, we need another one.
Yes.
It's like, ooh.
Which is actually quite an expensive mistake.
Yes.
Because these cheeses typically retail for how much?
Between $65 and $85 a box.
Right. So you really do plan an evening around it with friends and family, and you plan an event. So other than that, you also mentioned that it also goes with potatoes.
Yes. You can.
So it's almost like a fondue sometimes.
It's basically a fondue on the go. I open it with this hole here because traditionally you can also add a splash of wine, whatever you're drinking, put the cap back on and bake it for 25-30 minutes in an oven. And then when you go and serve it, you're left with this gooey fondue. So you can roast potatoes, dip it in, fresh bread, even if you like some cornichon, just to cut the richness. It's fantastic.
It's a real treat. And I would highly recommend doing the potatoes. And roasted potatoes work really well with it.
Oh, those toasted deep notes with this cheese.
Beautiful. Let's give it a taste.
Oh, I've been waiting.
Okay. Let's dig in. Let's move that little cap in there. You go first, Isaac.
Oh, thank you, sir.
I never taste it. So, describe what you're experiencing there to our viewers.
So on the nose, it's because it's wash rind. You immediately get that fresh, like stinky wash rind.
Yes, you do. There's a little funkiness to it, but there's this beautiful, clean element that just goes right at the base of your nose.
Oh yeah.
And washes right down to the back of the throat.
Exactly. And when this is still rather fresh, so if you let it sit for another 3 weeks, it smells more of death, but in a good way, you know.
Well, this is one thing about this cheese, and it's a beautiful thing. You don't need to eat it in a single sitting. All right. Although it'd be hard not to.
Yeah, you open it for company, you'll see it scraped out of the box. They might even try and eat the spruce bark. It's so good.
And the fun thing about it is you can plan multiple meals about it over it, which is why we're actually going to pair it up with 3 separate wines.
Exactly. Shall we taste it?
Absolutely. That's like good porn on the tongue. It is. That's the only way I can describe it. It's sexy.
It is.
But it has a grassiness to it.
It does. It's usually being hay fed from the season.
Right. And that heat has come through too.
You get a touch of the spruce. Just a touch, right?
Really touch. And you know where the spruce resides? Right in the front of the palate. Beautiful. Okay.
It's sometimes I just buy it after a whole crazy Christmas season. I just keep one for myself to eat alone in the dark. After like 24 days of hard work, it's just for me.
Yeah.
Just to not share with the world.
You know what? There's no shame in enjoying the night cheese.
No, like a midnight cheese.
That was one of my favorite episodes of 30 Rock. With Tina Fey, her character, and she was eating cheese and she was singing that song by Bob Seger, Night Moves. Working on the night cheese.
Oh God.
All right.
There's just something about midnight cheese. Even in The Simpsons, Marge finds Homer eating slice after slice of American cheese. And she's like, "Did you eat all of this?" "I think I'm blind."
Cartoons and cheese work well, but you know what works better? Wine.
Absolutely.
All right, so Isaac, I'm going to let you do the introduction on the first one. So we're going to go with a traditional pairing first.
This cheese, I find, like great wine, the more you sip on it or taste it throughout the evening, it just gets slightly better and bigger and bigger. So even after my second bite, it's getting more.
Right. Okay, so the first one is a Côte de Jura. Okay, so this is one wine that you recommend with this.
Yes.
You break this one down and I'll break down the other 2.
Sounds good.
Okay?
It's a Chardonnay from the Jura, so this is a Swiss Jura product, but you can get French Jura as well. And of course, what grows together goes together.
Yeah.
It's very mountain-esque in its smell and its flavor. It's herbaceous. I get like golden apples and ripe pear on the nose immediately.
Oh yes. Big fruit is very evident. It's a big nose for the wine.
It is for such a when like others of the regions. It's big nose but more delicate in its I guess on the palate.
Yeah, it's a slightly medicinal nose.
I'm getting a bit of would be yeast like malactic fermentation.
Yeah, there's that. It's very clean. It's very inviting. Let's give it a taste.
Oh.
Solid. Nuttiness to it.
Beautiful acidity.
The acidity is what really this wine is about. The acidity takes over the wine and it envelops your mouth. And the acidity, and it takes and sweeps from the back all the way to the front and sweeps right back down through the center of your palate.
Well, it's clean.
It's beautiful. It's deceptive because the nose does tend to give it a sense of this is going to be a big, heavy wine, but it isn't.
No,
It's a medium-bodied, acid plus. Beautiful weight, and it's just ready to go with something creamy. All right,
well, there we go.
Let's give it a go with the cheese.
god! So the cheese is transformed. Every ounce of nuttiness is just like forward and present in it.
Yeah.
Oh, it cleans it right up. All of that, let's say, funk that someone might not enjoy is just like polished to perfection. It's and going. And how the apple is working with it too. Whew.
That is exactly, I would say, if you're going to be serving this, make sure you have some fruit on the side. Because it will pair beautifully with that, and it would enhance flavor of the cheese as well. Right? But this wine, the wine, it's still evident. And the acidity of the wine is still evident.
It's still tickling the tongue.
But the cheese has coated the tongue beautifully. But it is doing this sort of like, you know how waves roll back in the surf? It's doing that along your tongue. And it's just a wonderful sensation. It's surprising that the wine does stand up dramatically well to this cheese.
Absolutely, for how intense it is.
Yeah. One thing about this cheese is there are a couple other wines, I'm going to put them out on the screen, that are from the Jura region that also pair with this. A little harder to find and also tend to be a bit more expensive. This one typically retails for about how much?
42?
42?
If you're buying a $65, $75 cheese, you want to, splurge a little bit in your wine.
Right.
If you bring out the barefoot, your company will leave.
Yes. But the other thing too about the fun thing about this is you could have this great wine that is a pairing that is made based on where it grows up. But let's give this a different dimension here. So let's go on to the next one. So I did a bit of research, and one of the things that they did recommend was a Riesling as an alternative to a wine from the Jura. So I went, and they did recommend an Auslese.
Okay.
And of course they recommended a 20-plus-year-old Auslese. I'm not buying that, okay? But I do feel that there's a very good wine out there, which is usually retails for just about $20. It's from a producer called Uzi Lights, and it is from Germany, and it is a Rheingau Riesling. So we could go into the whole thing about how well the predominant wine regions in Germany are. The Rheingau is one. It tends to rank, it's sort of like the second tier after the big Mosel region, but they do solid Rieslings. Let's give it a go. In terms of let's check out the nose. Traditional Riesling
Smells like it should.
You get the petrol. You get all that wet stone like by the riverfront on there.
There's some really floral note to it as well.
Yeah. You get a bit of honeysuckle.
There.
Yeah. But really light citrus.
Just a bit, yeah.
Just a bit, but what I find coming out of here is like baked apples, right? And, it's telling me that there's elements of this that want to go with a rich cheese. Okay.
There we go.
Let's give it a taste first before we pair it up with the cheese. Sweet, a little bit of residual sugar.
Still on brand for exactly what it should be.
Exactly what it is. A little sweetness, obviously.
But not even, you could still drink on its own. It's not that intrusive for the sweetness.
Not at all.
Because sometimes Rieslings are like, whoa, I need dessert.
Again, straight up Thai food, Vietnamese curry goes really well with that. But my feeling on this is let's give it a go with the cheese and see how this pairs.
Okay.
Okay. Cheese is fine.
So
unexpected.
Yeah, we're looking more into like sweet cream now from the cheese.
Yes.
Because of the sweetness.
100%. It took everything and just made it sweeter, richer.
It's like a dessert now.
you know what it's like. It's as much as I hate to kind of use this expression, and please forgive me, I'm not trying to be misogynistic. It's like a good push-up bra. It really makes you feel like that much more confident. It just raises it up into a whole new dimension.
Gotta talk about a good jock strap too.
Okay,
Then it's
exactly. Equal.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you wanted the specs.
Neutral.
No,
Yeah.
but it's not unexpected. Like it's lush, and the acid is still going.
It is, and of course that makes sense for
Right.
how acidic it is.
Well, like when we did sample on its own, the acid was not as evident, right? It did feel like it had a little bit of flap to it, but when you had it with the cheese, that acid became so evident. But the sweetness, I have to have no taste.
Okay. Oh well, I eat it all by the end of the day.
I'm just having a small taste here.
Oh well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It does beg revisiting. But you have
Creme fraiche.
it is, but like sweet creme fraiche. It's almost if you were to take creme fraiche with mascarpone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And because it does lighten the texture of the cheese, I would say if you do get a little bit of the skin on it, it does accentuate the nuttiness of that. All right, so we've done. Oh, that's a really good pairing. This one typically retails, as I said, 20 to 22. Really good value. So the other one I decided to go with was a budget one. This is one of my favorite wines, standard ones for patio weather. You go to Spain, you're always going to get great value. And I decided I'm going to go work with that little bit of sweetness. So I found something with a little bit of residual sugar. Verdejo is Spain's answer, I would say, to German Riesling.
Okay.
All right. It is a clean flavor, has a little bit of residual sugar, and it has a lot of tropical notes. And you usually get this for about $15. If you are in Ontario, I used to pick it up at the LCBO. I've seen it there for just about $13. Here in Calgary, with my discount, I get it for about $15. But you can expect to be paying about $18 for it. It is a lovely standard wine. Got the good old screw top on top there.
Ooh.
I know. We should do a whole show on screw tops, right? Because again, I do prefer the screw tops. A lot less fault faults you get off of the cork. You don't get cork taint as much, right? Right? But let's take a sniff of this wine and let's see how it goes.
I'm getting like pine.
Yeah.
Or I was wondering if that was just the box.
Got a little flint in there too, right?
Just
Pine's in there too.
it's not really intriguing. It's not when we first open it. It's not the same smell.
Right.
It's opened up.
It's opened up. It's been open now for about an hour. Let's give it a taste. Standard.
Yep.
Very tasty. Good old Verdejo. Nice acid. A little tart.
Yep.
A little sweetness coming through towards the back of the palate. Lots of acid.
Oh yeah.
All right. Tropical notes in there.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
else you got?
Well, what I always find because of how minerally it is.
Yeah.
That just speaks of like the Iberian Peninsula.
Yes.
Portuguese and the Spanish whites have that really
Right.
intense minerality. I love
Right.
it.
And you can all imagine this guy growing in like a high, almost barren region.
Like a dynamited cliff, as they've done.
Something like that. But you can, for a $15 bottle of wine, there is a lot of terroir for that wine.
Absolutely.
And the producer, Marquise de Fiscal, they are a very respected producer. They do some high-end wines, but the entry-level stuff, it's nothing to shake to push aside. Really enjoy it. It is a top-notch product, right? And that would go with a lot of things. You name it, this will go with it. Like even red meat will go with that.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely like a summer yakitori barbecue, I'm thinking.
Totally.
Ooh.
Very easy. Let's give it a go with the cheese. Cheese is perfect.
Oh, jeez. Oh, okay. So this one takes the funk and it elevates it completely.
but the funk goes towards the back of the palate.
I can. And some crazy mushroominess. Too.
Yes.
Oh.
It takes it and brings it way more earthy.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
It's still not intrusive or bad. And it's, I don't know. Maybe good cheeses should just have wine, and good wine should just have food.
Yes.
It's like it always makes it better.
Yeah, it does. It's not as dramatic as the other two.
No, it's still pleasant,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't go out of my way to do that.
Right, but I want to shake a stick at this one. I'd be very happy with this because the other thing too about it, the front of the palate now is telling you that it's ready for something to go with the cheese and the wine.
Your roast potatoes.
The roast potatoes. So so where the other two can carry the cheese alone, this works well with the cheese and something else. It's actually quite a good pairing.
It is.
If you wanted to say, all right, let's get a range of wines out there and say, guess which with the price point on these wines over the course of the evening when you're pairing it up with this cheese, you could actually plan a lovely event around that.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, it would be totally fun. Anyhow, any other things that you want to add to this?
Well, this one I see here is vegan wine.
Yes, it
So
is.
you can serve it at your party, and your poor vegan friends will regret. There's not much, there's lots of great things to eat, but this is a treat.
Yeah. Plan your Christmas around this, maybe even in New Year's or even a Valentine's, because the cheese would be available at that time. But,
We cross our fingers, I don't know.
If you open this up, this is going to be gone in no time flat. But really, go out there, give that a go.
Oh, yeah.
Go and buy a wheel with some friends and, try different white wines with it. Any red wines?
If you do a really neat, clean Trousseau or Burgundian Pinot, I think.
Yes.
Just
pick up on the mushroominess and the barnyardiness of it.
Yeah.
That should go quite well as well. But that's also the fun of it, With this one wheel, you can actually maybe get 6 friends together and get 6 separate wines and plan an evening around it and say which one goes best.
Totally. I always say when customers are buying this to serve at a company, if it's a couple and a couple, well, you brought the cheese, they can bring something excellent. Because if you show this name of cheese to a wine purveyor, they'll go, ooh, have I got something for you? They'll all have something. So
They all have something. But one of the things that you're learning here, and hopefully you pick up on this, is you can go with a traditional pairing, you can go with something just slightly off, but also have a whole different experience. And then you could also go with a budget one.
Absolutely. And
Right.
still have a great experience.
Still have a great experience. Anyhow, folks, thanks for watching, and go out there, try this wonderful funky cheese, and try it with a sample of wines, and let us know what works best for you.
Absolutely.
Okay, go out there and taste the world.